Good afternoon, and welcome back to part 2 of my ranking of all the DMUs in the UK, or rather Great Britain. We'll be ranking the top 10 that are remaining, though that doesn't really mean much considering there are only 20 entrants. Anyway, I've decided to improve upon my last video's method of ranking where I basically just waffled. Instead, I'm going to do a points-based system, based on separate categories. These are aesthetics, sounds, performance, passenger comfort, reliability, ride quality, and purpose. Each of these will be given a factor from 1 to 10, and when added together, they give a total of 70. This can be used to easily rank the trains. Most of them are self-explanatory, but I feel like I should clarify purpose. This is, what was the train built to do, and how good is it at doing that? Right, the trains remaining in our list, now the top 10, are the Class 158, the Class 159, the Class 168, the Class 170 and 171, again I'll be merging them, the Class 172, the Class 175, the Class 185, the Class 195, the Class 221, and the Class 222. At number 10, with 45 points out of 70, is the Class 172. I'm in two minds about these trains. They're designed for city services, and to be honest, they excel at that. They're probably the best you're going to get for a diesel train. However, should there be high-frequency, intense diesel services within a city? Probably not. Routes for that purpose should be electrified, almost without a doubt. Furthermore, when you consider what they're derived from, Class 170s, they suddenly stop looking so good. Their ride quality is much worse, and the sound insulation is quite terrible. However, as mentioned previously, these are probably the best urban diesel trains in the country. And regardless of whether that purpose is required or not, they fit the bill very well. At position number 9 we have the Class 175. These are a very close relative of the Class 180, but being slower, they're slightly more reliable. The interior layout is fantastic, though the seats aren't amazing and the interior ambience leaves a bit to be desired. In my opinion, they don't look very good, but they sound great with regards to the fact that they're quite quiet inside. In 7th place we have the Class 195. These are probably some of the better new trains to enter service in recent years, and though they do have ironing board seats, the interior ambience is like nothing else. Furthermore, they've got great performance and they look stunning. These are pretty good. The ride quality does let them down though. And in at number 6 we have the Class 221. These are virtually identical to the Class 220 we saw at number 11, and they share basically the same problems. However, they actually can tilt, which means at least they have a reason to exist. To be fair, I was just as surprised as you likely are to see these trains performing so highly. But when you think about it, they're actually very good. They just lack a few quality of life features, and give them a big refurbishment and operate them on sensible routes, and you're left with a very good train. Moving on, we have the Class 222. These are essentially a refined, updated version of the Class 220, with the Midland Main Line in mind. As a result, they're longer and can cope with overcrowding better, and have slightly better stuff like a refined interior ambience and generally better looks. Now we have the Class 158. It's no secret that I really like these trains. Now, they do have their flaws. The air conditioning never works, their top speed is only 90 miles an hour, and they look quite ugly. But when you take that away, you're left with an absolutely brilliant train. Reasonably good acceleration, great passenger comfort, a really sensible interior layout given the routes that they're operating, enough toilets, reasonable bike provision, and good seating capacity. And all this while being reasonably economical to operate. They enable high standards of passenger comfort to reach routes that otherwise wouldn't get it. And for that, I really like the Class 158s. In 4th place we have the Class 159, which is just a 158 but better, and with comfy first class seats, so slightly above. In 3rd place we have the Class 168. I absolutely adore these trains and their derivatives. They look great, and they sound amazing externally, whilst also being very quiet and relaxing inside. They have a sensible layout with about the right balance between tables and airline seating, and the window alignment's quite nice as well. The legroom isn't great, but I can overlook that, considering the fact that the table legroom is fine. Now, they do have 1/3 2/3 doors, which I'm not usually a fan of, as they can be quite noisy. But this problem is dealt with by having these sort of sound barriers located between the vestibule and the passenger saloon, which really helps. Just slightly higher in second place is the Class 170 and 171, and they're very similar to the Class 168. Basically everything I said there also applies here. However, the reason these are slightly above is because they have more versatility when it comes to interior layout, such as the ability to add first class. Additionally, the routes they were designed for are perhaps better suited to their operations than the Class 168s. And finally, in first place, we have the Class 185. These are, without doubt, my favourite DMUs in the country. Everything about them is just so good. They sound great, they look great, they're very reliable, the interior layout is stunning. It's just brilliant. Siemens have got to be one of the best rail manufacturers in the world, if you ask me. The standard of comfort provided for just a 3-coach train is brilliant, and they are exceptionally quiet when you consider how much power is packed under each coach. It's 750 horsepower. Additionally, the design has aged very well. They certainly don't look 17 years old. Overall, the Class 185 is a fantastic train, and it's almost perfect at the regional express operations it was designed to do, though Transpennine might be getting a little bit too crowded for it. Well, there we go. My opinions on every DMU in the country. The 196s will be following, don't worry. I've got a bit of a video planned for them. This is ordinarily the point where I beg you to do stuff like join my Discord, but I'm not going to do any of that today because I think it's time for me to thank you. Because the support I've had over the past few months is incredible. I can't believe it, 1,000 subscribers? I never thought I'd get that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in that fabled 196 video, if it ever releases.